Her own bodyguards. Good evening, this is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. The assassination of Indira Gandhi threatens India with its worst religious violence since the early days of independence 37 years ago. Because she was gunned down by militant members of the Sikh religion, one of whom was killed in the attack, the country's majority Hindus have a target to strike back at, and Sikh extremists made it easy, one of them claiming anonymously, "We have taken our revenge." We have a series of reports beginning with Wyatt Andrews in New Delhi.
Doctors tried to save Indira Gandhi for 5 hours after she was shot.
In spite of our best efforts, we could not save her and she expired.
Word of the shooting brought tens of thousands of Indians to the hospital. Word of her death brought cries of anguish and of anger. The assassination took place as Mrs. Gandhi was walking outside her residence in New Delhi. At least 2 of her Sikh bodyguards opened fire with submachine guns. Mrs. Gandhi was on her way to an interview with British actor Peter Ustinov.
We heard 3 bullets, and that was followed by a volley of obviously machine gun fire. The one saw people running around in almost uncanny silence. There were no cries. I heard no vocal expressions from anyone.
Violence erupted in New Delhi and in other major Indian cities as Hindu gangs set fire to the homes of known Sikh members shouting, "Kill the Sikhs," and "Return blood with blood." Indira Gandhi's son, Rajiv Gandhi, was quickly sworn in as Prime Minister. The former airline pilot was being groomed for the top government job by his mother. Rajiv Gandhi appealed for calm.
Nothing would hurt the soul of our beloved Indira Gandhi more than the occurrence of violence in any part of our country.
Sikh militants had repeatedly threatened Mrs. Gandhi's life. Just last night she told a political rally, "If I die today, every drop of my blood will invigorate the nation." Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, New Delhi.
Of all the expressions of shock and sorrow, none was more poignant than that of another strong woman leader who narrowly escaped assassination herself 3 weeks ago, Britain's Prime Minister Thatcher.
She was warm, humane, full of understanding. And I shall miss her very deeply.
But certain elements of the Sikh community around the world barely concealed their joy. In London, they were handing out sweets and celebrating. Mrs. Gandhi was both despised and adored. She was one of the last of the great world leaders, and her political career was as turbulent as the history of her country. Modern India was born in bloody religious and racial violence. The assassination of India's independence hero Mahatma Gandhi, to whom she was not related, was part of that tragic beginning. Mrs. Gandhi's father, Prime Minister Pandit Nehru, held the country together for nearly 2 decades. After his death, Mrs. Gandhi rapidly became the dominating figure in Indian politics for the next 20 years. Her importance to the rest of the world was her ability to hold together a volatile country with its turbulent mix of religious minorities. The most recent challenge to her authority was the Sikh struggle for independence.
Well, we were trying to respect their religious sentiments. People in India are very religious, as you know, and we try to take special care of our minorities.
But conciliation failed, and last June she sent in the army to seize from Sikh extremists their holy temple at Amritsar. In a recent interview, Mrs. Gandhi was fatalistic about the possibility of meeting a violent death.
Well, I've lived with danger all my life, and I think I've had a pretty full life, and it makes no difference whether you die in bed or you die standing up.
Tom Fenton, CBS News, London.
It is the world's largest democracy, stretching from the Himalayas to the Indian Ocean. 700 million people, 22 different languages. More a collection of ancient, volatile civilizations than a country. India's greatest achievement, Mrs. Gandhi used to say, has been its survival. She deserves credit.
She was a symbol of continuity, a symbol of creation, and an extremely powerful figure.
But it was the use and extension of that power that produced India's latest crisis, precipitated her death, and now threatens the country's future. Her willingness to suspend civil rights, declare martial law, postpone elections, and use the army at the Golden Temple enraged Sikhs and triggered extremist revenge.
Very soon you will see that somebody somewhere will kill Mrs. Gandhi, her whole family.
Today the warning was carried out, threatening a new wave of sectarian violence between Sikh and Hindu, far worse than the riots that broke out following the assault at Amritsar. The task of holding India together now rests on the inexperienced shoulders of Mrs. Gandhi's son Rajiv, who spoke with CBS News about the Gandhi dynasty last June.
I know that my grandfather and my mother both have a very deep commitment towards the country. And maybe this is what the people feel, that she really is the only one who can do something for them.
She's gone now. The problems ahead are enormous in a country that has one foot in the 20th century and another in the 15th, that is the 10th largest industrial power in the world, yet can't feed its own people. Besides poverty and corruption, there are enemies on the border anxious to exploit the instability. Rajiv Gandhi will need all of the good graces of his family name to keep the country intact through the days and months ahead. Failing that, he also has one of the world's largest armies. Steve Croft, CBS News, London.
Indira Gandhi was 66. Her funeral and cremation will be on Saturday. We'll have more on this still developing story in a moment.
There you go. Son, we're really proud of you getting into college. Thanks.
And the orthodontist said my braces would be off in just 6 months.
Even good news can weigh heavily on a family's finances. But thanks to John Hancock, you can balance your needs for the future with sound financial planning, mutual funds, retirement help, and more.
Well, everyone, here's to our future.
Put the weight of John Hancock on your side. John Hancock. We can help you here and now, not just hereafter.
The secret of the new luxury is science. This efficient turbocharger is now available in all new Chrysler LeBarons. So now you enjoy LeBaron luxury with the power of a V8 and the efficiency of a Ford. Indeed, you have never been moved like this before. The new turbocharged Chrysler LeBarons. Quality, backed by the Chrysler Protection Plan. This is the new science of luxury from Chrysler. The best built, best backed American cars.
The hatred of Indira Gandhi, demonstrated so violently in New Delhi by some members of the Sikh religion, was welcomed today by some others of the sect who have sought refuge in this country. Bob Simon reports.
In June, Sikhs in the United States knew how to react when their temple, the Golden Temple of the Punjab, was stormed by Indira Gandhi's army. Today, Sikh reactions to the Sikh murder of Mrs. Gandhi were scattered. There was unrepentant joy.
Who's the Hitler? She is a terrorist and a Hitler. Genocide. She's committing genocide of the Sikhs.
There was confusion, concern, and prayer.
I'm sad for Mrs. Gandhi. She was a great woman.
There are an estimated 250,000 Sikhs in the United States, committed, many of them anyway, to the separatist cause of their brothers on the subcontinent.
They've sent a lot of money back and support, emotional, political, as well as financial, to the growing number of young Sikhs in the Punjab itself.
Hindus in the United States grieved, and they weren't alone. The president, who shifted the emphasis of American foreign policy from human rights to a war on terrorism, conceded that one more battle had been lost.
I think it's a great tragedy, and it's just an example of the terrorism that is operating throughout the world.
Relations between Mrs. Gandhi and the Reagan administration were tense and tenuous at best. Washington could not forgive India for refusing to condemn the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. India could not forgive Washington for resuming arms shipments to its enemy, Pakistan.
She didn't particularly like Americans. On the other hand, she defended the interests of her country with tenacity and skill.
One ingredient missing from the various American reactions today was shock. One more world leader. The epidemic continues. Bob Simon, CBS News, Washington.
The fanatics who assassinated Indira Gandhi today justified their act on religious grounds. Unfortunately, it's not the first time this has happened, nor will it be the last. And this is the subject of Bill Moyer's commentary tonight. Bill?
Then one of the holy men of the Sikh religion said this morning that Mrs. Gandhi's death had been prophesied, an act of God, as it were, visited upon the Prime Minister for using the army to put down insurrection by Sikh militants in the Golden Temple. Such notions of divine sanction for murder are familiar these days. U.S. Marines in Lebanon were killed by men acting in the name of God. Threats against a U.S. Supreme Court justice were made recently by a group calling itself the Army of God. In polite circles, assassination is sometimes called termination by extreme prejudice. Of course, religion that makes us hate is extreme prejudice and leads to political violence, for heaven's sake. We fear the extremes in this country and have tried to keep religion and politics from making war on each other. Knowing what can lie at the end of the slippery slope, some of us take alarm at even the most seemingly innocuous beginnings. For example, in southwest Michigan, a congressional campaign has become an ugly scuffle between synagogues and churches. Jewish voters received letters from 6 Jewish members of Congress urging them to support the incumbent, who is Jewish. 3 born-again evangelical politicians, in a letter identifying themselves, quote, as elected officials serving under the authority of Lord Jesus, have written ministers urging their congregations to defeat the incumbent and help, quote, to send another Christian to Congress. Now, this is not India, and a ballot is not a bullet, but it bodes harm in the long run. I should declare my own interest in this as a Baptist whose spiritual ancestors were flogged for their beliefs by the Puritans of Massachusetts. But if you want a witness made wiser by immediate experience, consider the politician in Beirut who looked upon his city wasted by religious factions and said, "We have to get religion out of politics. It's poison." His warning comes too late for Beirut, but not for America.
When my arthritis kicks up, there's no beating deep heating.
Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub. Penetrating relief to soothe minor arthritis pain for hours.
When my hands are stiff and sore, there's no beating deep heating.
Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub. Penetrating relief to ease the stiffness of minor arthritis pain for hours. Mentholatum Deep Heating Rub or lotion.
There's no beating deep heating.
AT&T is in mushrooms.
Pheasant or champignon?
How can a mushroom supplier from high up in the Rockies sell this perishable delicacy to the country's finest restaurants as fast as possible? Simple.
Called to tell you I picked some of the best.
With AT&T long-distance service,
Terrific.
our people can show any business the best way to do business. The people of AT&T Communications, we're thinking about your business in ways you never thought of.
The 13 members of OPEC, the world oil cartel, ended their emergency meeting in Geneva today with formal unanimous agreement to create, in effect, a temporary oil shortage. They plan to do this by temporarily cutting production levels to shore up competition-threatened prices. Some of the OPEC members predicted prices would rise soon. The United States rolls along toward its worst trading year in history. The government today reported the nation's foreign trade deficit hit $12.6 billion in September, the second highest monthly total ever. The Commerce Department today reported its main economic forecasting gauge rose a modest 0.4% in September, but the department revised its August figures for the index of leading indicators, showing a 0.1% decline instead of the increase earlier reported. The economic slowdown has fed declines in interest rates. Conventional wisdom says that's good news for consumers, and it is. Jane Bryant Quinn reports on that and on what those lower interest rates mean for savers.
In the professional money markets, interest rates have been plunging for 7 weeks.
The November 23s are at 8:30.
In California, interest rates on consumer loans are also starting to crack, and California often sets the trend for the rest of the country. Just last week, the Bank of America cut its average auto loan by 0.75%. In Fresno, the Guarantee Savings S&L dropped its fixed-rate mortgage by a full percent.
And we could afford it, and we decided to go for it.
Interest rates are down because inflation is down, and because the growth in the economy fell sharply over the summer and fall. Businessmen are not taking out so many loans, and many of them have even cut production. A few economists think that this could signal the third recession in 5 years.
I mean pay cuts, bankruptcies, all the things that we associate with recession, but I believe this will probably be the worst of the post-war era.
None of the classic signs of recession are there.
The majority of economists are far more optimistic.
The slower growth is actually a good thing because it enhances the chances of sustaining this expansion beyond 1985 and into 1986 and 1987.
Consumers may wait to see which economist is right before deciding to commit themselves to big new loans. Bankers say that the most popular time to borrow money is not when interest rates are going down, but ironically, when consumers perceive that interest rates are going back up. Jane Bryant Quinn, CBS News, New York.
The Coast Guard today said one man was missing after 3 explosions sent flames shooting 100 feet in the air from a merchant ship off the northern California coast. 28 other crewmen were rescued after the pre-dawn explosion about 10 miles outside San Francisco Bay. The 632-foot ship called the Puerto Rican was carrying oil and butane. Cause of the explosion, not known. The night before Halloween is called Devil's Night in Detroit, and it looked like something out of hell last night as vandals set at least 300 fires in a 24-hour rampage of arson. 8 firefighters were injured trying to contain the damage. Police said fires, which still burn today, were set by juvenile pranksters and adults torching vacant buildings for hire. It's the 3rd straight year for pre-Halloween arson in Detroit, and this time it occurred in spite of a quadrupling of police patrols, a strict curfew, and a civilian security force equipped with CB radios.
This Remington microscreen shaves as close as a blade or your money back. Look, no cord. It's rechargeable. It never needs a cord because this convenient charger stand keeps it continually charged. The Remington microscreen shaves as close as a blade or your money back. Here's why. The first screen shaves incredibly close. The second screen even closer. The Remington microscreen rechargeable shaver shaves as close as a blade or your money back. And the Lady Remington rechargeable, the perfect gift, shaves without a cord.
For 6 straight years, smart car and truck buyers who look for the best value have made Toyota the #1 selling import. But the supply of these best sellers is not always equal to the demand. In the next few days, a good selection of 85 Toyotas will arrive at a dealer near you. Maybe the model you've been looking for, but don't wait. Best sellers have a way of disappearing fast. The more you compare, the more you'll see. It's Toyota, not the other guys.
An unpleasant October surprise today for the administration from a Republican senator on the Judiciary Subcommittee.
We have no choice but to find the Attorney General in contempt.
At issue, the Justice Department's refusal to turn over information to the Senate as to why, in 1981, an investigation of the nation's largest defense contractor, General Dynamics, was closed down. An investigation into whether the company had defrauded the Navy on cost overrun claims on nuclear attack submarines, payments amounting to more than $500 million. The Justice Department says its reasoning for the refusal was that based on new information, the General Dynamics investigation is on again, and information being released to Congress could jeopardize it. Just 6 days to go to Election Day, but in one way, today's rhetoric was more like day one. President Reagan suggested in a Hearst News Service interview that Geraldine Ferraro was not picked to run for her qualifications, but because she's a woman. Geraldine Ferraro challenged President Reagan's claim and challenged him to debate. Walter Mondale's response went further.
She is far better prepared for her position than Mr. Reagan was when he was elected President of the United States. But more than that, she's a very bright person who applies herself and learns every day. No one has ever accused this president of applying himself.
For the Reagan-Bush ticket, for the Mondale-Ferraro ticket, these are the last days to sum up the message and the image and the vision.
Less than a week to go to the election of a president. For a moment, put aside all the balloons, the music, the babble, and the hoopla. This is a race between 2 men, Republican Ronald Reagan and Democrat Walter Mondale.
But the choice is more than that, much more. Candidates Reagan and Mondale are asking you, the voter, to make a choice between 2 very different visions. Visions of where America is and where America should be going.
The choices this year are between 2 different visions of the future. 2 fundamentally different ways of governing. Their government of pessimism, fear, and limits, or ours of hope, confidence, and growth.
This is a fundamental and basic debate about the nature of America. Have we become some sort of jungle where just the richest or the fittest, whatever that means, prosper? We are not a selfish people.
President Reagan's vision is a country united by his policies.
Our dream is to help every American climb as high as he or she can go. Now, isn't that more compassionate than keeping people down in dependency for the rest of their lives?
The Republicans' new idea, basically, I think, is that government's a good thing, but that it's been pushed too far in certain areas, and we have to rein it in. And Reagan certainly reflects that kind of vision.
Walter Mondale's vision is a country divided by Ronald Reagan's policies.
Big corporations, utilities, big money, they get the power. But ordinary working Americans take the powder. In Reagan's America, if you're rich, you get tax cuts. If you're not, they give you cheese.
It may sound like Franklin Roosevelt, but it isn't.
It's significant that in his acceptance speech in San Francisco, it was not Franklin Roosevelt he quoted, but Harry Truman. And the Harry Truman who said that presidents have to say both yes and no, but most of the time no.
Both visions profess peace. How to achieve that glittering goal, however, divides the two visions.
Arms control is not weakness, it is strength, and it is essential to the survival of the human race, and we want a president who understands it.
We have rallied our friends throughout the world. Even as we've successfully resisted Soviet expansionism, we've opened a wide series of diplomatic initiatives that will eventually bear fruit not just in arms control treaties, but in arms reduction treaties.
But more than any other single thing, the debate is about government.
Government should do all that is necessary, but only that which is necessary.
We got to quit snarling at each other. We got to start working together. Labor and management has to sit down together and work these problems out. Government has to help out.
So this election may turn on two different visions of how much government is enough, of what government should be. One vision says government is best that governs least. The other vision says not necessarily. Government is best that governs best. Tomorrow, we'll bring you here to Wilmington, Delaware, to talk with some American voters about what those two very different visions mean to them. I'll be back with more news in a minute.
Milk-Bone does for you. Crunch, 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 crunch. What soft food can do. Crunch, 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 crunch.
And each crunchy bite.
Crunch, 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 crunch.
Helps get teeth clean and white.
Milk-Bone dog biscuits help scrape away tartar for cleaner, whiter teeth.
I love you a bunch, so to munch. Here's a Milk-Bone with a classic.
Crunch. And here's a beefy idea. Butcher Bones, the first and only dog snack with real beef chips in 3 beef bone shapes. Give your dog Butcher Bones. They're tail wagging good.
What makes Carnival's Fun Ships the most popular cruise ships in the world?
In the morning, in the evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, oh, but honey, ain't we got fun? The food is great here, there's never a bill. We'll stay up late, dear, let's not miss a thrill. Sunny weather, all together, we've got the fun.
Sail for 7 days on the world's most popular cruise ships from just $945.
If you visited all the places some nationwide long-distance companies don't serve, you'd be on the road a long time. There are a lot of services you take for granted with AT&T that most companies don't have, like calling from anywhere to anywhere, operator service, and immediate credit for wrong numbers. Looks like most companies still have a long way to go to measure up to AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound.
Reach out and touch someone.
Researchers today said about 30% of all heart attack victims do not realize they have suffered a seizure until the attack shows up later on routine electrocardiogram tests. The quiet attacks were called just as likely as painful ones to foreshadow serious health problems. The infant known as Baby Faye, kept alive by the heart of a baboon, already is the world's longest-lived survivor of an animal-to-human heart transplant. But even as scientists speculate about a brave new world signaled by this operation, Jerry Bowen reports Baby Faye faces a critical test.
Day 6 for Baby Faye and her new heart, and doctors say there is still no sign of rejection. The 19-day-old infant's weight has dropped slightly since these pictures taken yesterday, but doctors say that's due to the loss of unneeded fluids. Overall, she's doing remarkably well enough to have been visited by her grandparents.
Well, she's right now being held by her mother, and she seems to like that very well. It settles her down. She opens her eyes and looks at her mom.
But university spokesman added a note of caution as well. Baby Faye is heading toward a 3-day window when rejection has frequently occurred in adult recipients. But the experts don't know what to expect in this case, involving an infant with an animal heart.
We're not far enough out from this particular procedure to recommend it for another child.
We keep getting away from the idea that this is a whole new ball game, so to speak, a whole new set of circumstances, a whole new set of parameters. We have no database to go back to.
And suddenly it's a new ballgame too for an animal research foundation in San Antonio, Texas, where today it was learned that Baby Faye's donor was selected from this colony, one of the largest in the world.
I think we are proud that we were able to provide this, and certainly wish them all the luck and hope their baby survives.
And at Loma Linda University, they've stopped counting the phone calls coming in from around the country.
She's doing just fine. The nurse says she's gulping her formula.
Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Loma Linda, California.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this Wednesday. Dan Rather reporting. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
High atop Hawaii's Mauna Kea lies one of the world's premier spots for astronomical observation. And in Scotland, at the Royal Observatory, lies one of the world's premier centers for astronomical study. The problem is, they're 7,000 miles apart. The solution? A computer link, enabling the scientists in Scotland to control the telescope in Hawaii and retrieve the data in seconds. G. No, GTE.
The Farnsworths are coming to dinner. What do you suggest?
Hide and pretend you're not home. And if that fails, serve Paul Masson wine in these handsome carafes. Carafes add a touch of elegance. And Paul Masson wine is delicious because it's made with so much time and care.
Well, I'll just go and make myself beautiful.
Hope springs eternal. Paul Masson will sell no wine before it's time.
Before you buy insurance, you should examine the evidence. An agent who works for one company can only offer you the policies his company sells. But an independent agent represents several companies. He can help you select the right coverage at the right price because he has more policies to choose from. A one-company agent or an independent agent? The evidence is clear. Check the yellow pages for your independent insurance agent, the more than one-company agent.
I'm Bill Curtis. Tomorrow we'll talk live with Howard Cosell and a town meeting on candidates and their images. Wake up to what's happening on the CBS Morning News.
This is CBS.
Next on Eyewitness News at 6, a financial deal means a lot for Metro's fire department and a happy ending to a story of a missing 3-year-old. Details coming up next on Eyewitness News.
26, 27, 28, 29. I can do it, by goodness, I can do it. Mr. Crown said for just $29 down, I can take this car home. He sells a world of cars that way. It only takes a minute to make a better deal at Crown Ford. Ain't that just like Mr. Crown?
Introducing the world's most advanced communications technology from the brightest minds in the business. Light, glass, clear solutions. SCB Lightgate service. The fastest, most reliable and accurate way to transmit voice and